Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing a fan-suggested tier list. The best and worst chins in the UFC. Now, let me just first off start off with the fighters that are going to be on this tier list is going to be on a spectrum of the UFC. The fact is you can include every single person in the UFC, but the fact is most people are going to be average because very few people have what I would call a giga chin, and not a lot of people have what I would call a glass jaw. Most people are on the average because the best way that I've ever had it explained to me, your jaw, your chin strength, can be explained as, think of it as a bank balance, okay? There's only a certain amount of money that you can draw from it, but when your card finally declines, yeah, you're going to sleep. That is how a chin works in MMA. Just some people have a bigger balance. So you're going to notice very quickly that a lot of the fighters that are going to be going in our glass jaw are people that have met the grim sleeper very, very often. And with that out of the way, with that little preamble, let's get started with the Giga Chad, the Giga Chin himself, Drew Dober. Okay, listen, Drew Dober, it depends on who he's fighting. If he's fighting somebody that is a little bit more Caucasian than he is, his chin is probably around like a C tier to maybe a low B tier. But if he fights any minority, dude, it is the weirdest thing. He will beat people that I don't think he should be able to beat. And his chin strength goes out the wazoo. I forget the person off the top of my head because I think he was actually cut from the UFC a few fights after that. This man drilled Drew Dober. And Drew Dober ate it like a Big Mac, okay? Drew Dober has taken strikes that make absolutely zero sense and has walked through it like it was nothing. But he's also been KO'd by Matt Frevola. You see what I'm saying? Like, more Caucasian than him. I'm going to take the average of the two. I'm going to put him in our A tier because against normal people, he is a very high B tier. Against somebody that isn't of the same skin color, he is a Giga Chin. He's an A tier. I would say he's a pretty solid mid A tier. I'm very confident with my pick on this one. Israel Adesanya. Now this is what I'm talking about. Israel Adesanya's chin really isn't that bad when you consider the people that he's taking punches from. He got hit a couple times by Robert Whittaker. He got finished by Alex Pereira. Strickland doesn't have crazy power, but Jan Blachowicz does, and Jan wasn't able to take him out. Israel Adesanya is probably the epitome of, well, probably not the epitome, but up there with hitting somebody without getting hit. He is probably one of the best at that, like that point fighting type of style. So I would imagine his chin's really good just because it hasn't been super tested. I'm going to have to say, I'm not a single finish he has never been finished in the UFC, but I can't put him in that Giga Chin era because his chin hasn't been seriously tested outside of the Alex Pereira fight. And there's people that are on this list that have taken the power of Alex Pereira and have walked through it. So you know what? I'm going to say Israel Adesanya is going to be right behind Drew Dober. Okay? I think that's fair. He's just not a Giga Chin. I haven't seen him take crazy power outside of the Alex Pereira fight. And speaking of Alex Pereira, let's get him out of the way real quick. Alex Pereira, where am I putting him, guys? Listen, he was able to take punches from Yuri Prohaska. He took punches from Jan Blachowicz. He took some punches from Sean Strickland, who admittedly doesn't hit super hard compared to everybody else in his division, but got flatlined by Israel Adesanya. Israel does not flatline people, okay? Like, I'm gonna have to knock him quite a bit for that. Because it's one thing getting dropped and getting TKO'd. It's another thing getting hit with a counter and getting put to sleep, okay? I kind of have to put Alex Pereira, it's gonna look like he's at the top of B tier. I would argue he's mid to low B tier as far as his chin strength, just because you were able to get finished by Israel Adesanya. I'm not lying to you. I am kind of worried for in the Jamal Hill fight because Jamal Hill 100% has the power to put down Alex Pereira. However, What is keeping him from a C+ is the fact that he was able to go from being finished by Israel Adesanya to fighting Jan Blachowicz, somebody who hits harder than Israel, within over the course, I believe it was 3 months, like a crazy turnaround. So that keeps him from our high C tier, is that turnaround. But it's not going to save this other man, Cody Garbrandt. Listen, Cody Garbrandt has gone through wars, okay? The chin is gone. This man has fought too many wars to maintain a chin. When I'm talking about a bank balance and his card has been declined, Cody Garbrandt is the best example of this. A glass jaw, brother. And he's aware of it. 100% he's aware of it. Watch how he fights now versus how he used to fight. 100% there have been conversations that have been had in his gym talking about how Cody Garbrandt's chin is not what it used to be, and you have to be playing safer than you used to. You can't be boxing in the pocket with people anymore. Take it the distance, be careful, because you're going to get dropped by a straight punch. Listen, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I love Cody Garbrandt too, but I would be lying if I put him anything other than glass jaw. Marvin Vettori. Giga chin, dude. I might actually make the argument, if there wasn't one other person on this list, that Marvin Vettori has the strongest chin in the entirety of MMA. Legitimately. Marvin Vettori gets hit by... Marvin Vettori fought Israel Adesanya and Jared Cannonier and Robert Whittaker. The Robert Whittaker fight is the only one that I would argue... He didn't get finished by Robert Whittaker. And he ate a full-on head kick from Paulo Costa and Jared Cannonier. Let's look at... I'm actually going to pull up his Tapology. Because it is... I remember looking at it earlier and how crazy it was. Decision. Against people that have power for this division. Split decision. He has never been finished. Like, I don't even know how these amateur career bouts went, but judging by his fight IQ, they probably were decisions. But he has never been finished in the entirety of his career fighting people like Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, and Jared Cannonier. Not to mention, like, bro. Yeah, no, S tier. Like, 100%. I gotta put him in S tier. Next up is Tony Ferguson. I don't know if I'll put him in glass jaw, but I am gonna put him in very, very, very low C tier. Like, the Michael Chandler... Like, Tony Ferguson fought high-level competition, fought a Charles Oliveira, fought a Kevin Lee, fought a Beneil Darius, fought a Michael Chandler. And outside of Michael Chandler, they just couldn't get him out of there on the feet. And he dropped Michael Chandler, another person on this list. But Tony Ferguson also was able to take Paddy Pimblett the distance. And I'm just going to say it right now. If Paddy Pimblett couldn't put out Tony Ferguson after getting chinned by Michael Chandler, Paddy is not going to TKO a single person in his entire career. I'm just going to say it right now, unless something crazy happens. So, by me putting Tony Ferguson in C tier, I'm actually giving Paddy Pimblett credit. Because there's a lot of people that would put Tony Ferguson in glass jaw because of everything that's happened. But I'm not going to do that, purely because he was able to take Paddy Pimblett the distance. That's what I'm going to do. If he had a glass jaw, he would have been finished by Paddy Pimblett. Next up, Alexander Volkanovski. Dude, it's happened. I have to put him in low B tier. I have to put him in low B tier now. Like, lower than Pereira. Think about this, dude. He got head kick KO'd by Islam Makhachev and got brutally finished by Ilia Topuria. Like, he was going to be high A tier. Think about that. He went from high A tier to a B minus because of those two finishes. And for people saying that's harsh, okay? Understand that 3 KOs in a row, I think, like, contractually, you actually should be... You should quit. Because these are not KOs. that you are getting hit and you're like half conscious and you're getting a few more punches landed. No. Ilia Topuria put the man to sleep. The next punches afterwards were just overkill. The referee had to stop that from happening. The head kick KO was like half out. The overhand right from Ilia Topuria put down Volkanovski. He's at a B- now. Like, I think he went from having like a really good chin, something like an A+ chin, to having a B- because of 2 finishes. Because I know, like, I wouldn't hold him in the same regard as a Tony Ferguson, but I'm worried for Volkanovski now, dude. Like, I really am. B-, honestly. Dominic Reyes. I'm going to put him above Cody Garbrandt purely because they do hit way harder at light heavyweight. But the thing is, there's only so much credit I'm going to give you. Because Dominic Reyes has been finished by just about everybody. Like, in the top echelons of that division. Like, it's to the point, didn't they want, like, some top 15 fighter to KO Dominic Reyes? Like, that's the next fight that they're shooting for. Is it Manifield? It's either Manifield or Jacoby. I forget who the next fight for Dominic Reyes is. But, or it's a guy from Dana. Okay, it's somebody that is either very low on the rankings or somebody that's unranked that is going to fight Dominic Reyes, and he's going to KO this man and end his career. I am shocked that Dominic Reyes is still fighting. Like, I've said this before. Every once in a while, an article will pop up talking about Dominic Reyes is training with Alex Pereira. And I'm over here like, why? Bro, you're still fighting and you're training with people that could put you unconscious with 50% power? Like, I'm shocked Dominic Reyes is still fighting because his chin is that bad. But then again, I can't put him below Cody Garbrandt because they just don't. They hit so much harder in these higher weight classes. Next up, Max Holloway. Max Holloway, honestly, he's going to be in our A tier. Yes, he has a better chin. I'm sorry. I either put him above an Israel or I'll put him above an Israel Adesanya. I'll put him below a Drew Dober. Here's the reason why. I don't think he has the chin for lightweight. Like, I'm really worried for the Justin Gaethje fight. If you look back at the Dustin Poirier fights, Max Holloway was getting clipped and he was getting rocked by Dustin. He just doesn't have the chin for these higher weight classes. And I'm just going to say it, featherweight outside of a few people is not a very powerful division. They just aren't. So for Max Holloway to be able to take the punches that he's getting, honestly, the fights that you have to look at would have to be like an Alexander Volkanovski. Like fights, and the Yair Rodriguez fight. Fighters that do have power for that division, and he's able to take that. But if he goes up and fights people that have established power at a higher weight class, the chin's cracking. I'll put him above an Israel, purely because of the amount of damage that he's been able to take and still go on. But I'm telling you, that chin's going to get cracked sooner or later. Next up, Dustin Poirier. I'm going to have to say Dustin Poirier probably is a little bit higher than Volkanovski, but still lower than Alex Pereira. I mean, Alex is dealing with people with a bit more power, a bit like at 185 and 205, but Dustin Poirier did get flatline KO'd by Justin Gaethje and Michael Johnson. Yeah, no. Mid-B tier is probably good. Michael Johnson, I'm not going to hold it too much against you because Michael Johnson is either the best fighter the UFC has ever seen or loses to an unranked lightweight. Like, it just so happened that Dustin Poirier fought Michael Johnson when he was the best fighter in the UFC. Like, it's... You flip a coin, that's what happens. The flatline KO from Justin Gaethje drops him a whole tier. I'm telling you. He would have been in a mid-A tier if he was able to finish Justin Gaethje. But I'm going to say a mid-B tier. Not at a Tony Ferguson level, but definitely a mid-B tier when it comes to that chin. Dude, I'm going to keep on saying it. Getting flatline KO'd drops you a whole tier. Next up, Justin Gaethje. He has such a weird chin, dude. Like, genuinely, Justin Gaethje doesn't make any sense. He comes into the UFC, and his motto, I'm not even kidding you can search this up, I will gladly take 2 punches to land 1 on you. That's just not a good game plan for anything in MMA unless you're going to finish the guy. And it just turns out that he has power for that division. But at the same time, he had to switch gears because the fact, like, when you get up higher, yeah, those 2 punches are going to put you out. That 1-2 is going to put you out before you land yours. But, okay, let me re-jog my memory. Like, I think I'm forgetting something, but I just want to be sure. Okay, who has he been finished by? Okay, choke. That was a war, though. Ooh, yep, that's going to put him down 1. Wait, did I say Michael Johnson? Yeah, I did. What was I thinking about? I think I was thinking about the Eddie Alvarez fight. I think I just saw him so much in highlights that I just replaced the names. But, yeah, no. I gotta drop. I'm gonna say Justin Gaethje has a better chin than Dustin. But bro has gained brain cells. Let's look at that one more time. Okay. Good. Choke. Okay, fine. Low A tier. I'll put him as a low A tier. Very low A tier, actually. Okay. I'll put Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. If Justin Gaethje beats Max Holloway, then I'll put him above. He just hasn't been finished the amount of times that he's been finished. So I can't. But, yeah, I think low A tier is pretty fair. Next up, Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, he doesn't have a great chin. Like, he's fighting Arman Tsarukyan, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is how I viewed the fight. From a striking standpoint, Charles Oliveira has better striking. Arman Tsarukyan has better durability. Charles Oliveira was dropped by Michael Chandler, almost finished the fight. Dropped twice by Justin Gaethje. Got dropped by Dustin Poirier. Got dropped by Islam Makhachev. Got finished by Paul Felder. Yeah, honestly, yeah, mid. But they hit hard, though. Okay. I'm going to try to get these ones right. This one right. Boom. Charles. Okay. But he gets dropped in most of his match. Like, you see what I'm saying? Okay. You know what? Charles Oliveira, honestly, very low A tier. Not low A tier, low B tier. I might even put him to C tier at that point. But his jiu-jitsu is so much better than everybody else. The only thing saving him from going into a C+ or a mid-C tier, honestly, is the fact that he has not been dropped, KO'd, flatlined, put to sleep. Okay? Don't worry, we'll have more C tiers, but at the same time, like, Beneil Darius. Beneil Darius might actually have a worse chin now. Okay, you know what? Beneil Darius might go in a C tier, yeah. The Edson Barboza left his mark. Charles Oliveira left his mark. And Arman Tsarukyan left his mark and flatlined him. High C tier. Tony Ferguson is low C tier. That's where I have to put him. Yuri Prochazka's taken a lot more damage than people think, and I think people are in denial of that. Yuri has a very overrated chin. I believe Dominic Reyes actually rocked him with an up kick. What else? Glover Teixeira nearly put him out a couple times. Alex Pereira put him out and followed up with a few strikes. Like, you see what I'm saying? And the funniest part about it is people looked at the Alex Pereira fight and they said, early stoppage. Are you trying to lobotomize this man? Like, Alex Pereira has some of the craziest power in the UFC right now, and you're gonna cry early stoppage when Alex Pereira is landing landing, wasn't it like 2 or 3 strikes on an unconscious Yuri Prohaska? Y'all are trying to kill Yuri. I'll put Yuri Prohaska probably a mid B tier though, just because there hasn't been like the Glover one's not good. That's not a good look. And Dominic Reyes, that's a freak one. And Alex Pereira has crazy power. But I'm telling you, if he gets dropped by Rakids, if he gets KO'd by Rakids, then I gotta put him in a C tier. Like, this is the make or break. Johnny Walker, glass jaw, dude. I might so I'm gonna put him mid just because I actually think Dominic Reyes might have a better chin than Johnny Walker, because Johnny Walker will go out to straight punches. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's either Jamal Hill has the craziest power at light heavyweight, which he might, or Johnny Walker has the weakest jaw at light heavyweight, or a little bit of both. Because Jamal Hill put him out with a straight right. A straight right put him out, and like it wasn't even like a straight right, like you're right in front of me, and I'm able to get some momentum, and it's just mid-distance. No, at distance. Got hit with a straight right and got put unconscious. That's where the meme comes from. Yeah, no, middle glass jaw. Yes, no, Cody Garbrandt, he's getting KO'd by people that just don't have crazy power, so I gotta put him there. Strickland. Strickland actually won a little bit of favor from me, from the Drickus fight, when it came to his chin. Because here's the thing, to pull it back to the beginning of the video when I said, your chin health is like a bank balance, the more you take out, the less you have. Strickland gets hit less than everybody. So I actually thought, oh, Strickland doesn't have a great jaw, but then when you think about it, Alex Pereira finished him. That's about it. Alex Pereira can put down anybody at middleweight with his left hook. So when people look at Sarn Strickland like, oh, he's chinny, he got put out by Alex Pereira, it's like, dude, everybody would get put out by Alex Pereira. Dude, he put down people at, like, heavyweight, a full division bigger. So yeah, honestly, just because of how little he gets hit, I would actually put the chin health of Sarn Strickland above a Charles, above a Volkanovski, above a Yuri. I actually would put him at a high B tier. Yeah, no, you know what? I think that's a controversial take, but I do stand by that. I wouldn't put him in an A- just because, I mean, it hasn't been super tested. That's all I'm gonna, like, these guys have been hit. But, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Next up, Andrei Arlovsky. Bad. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put him mid C tier. Andrei Arlovsky, like, here's the thing. I think he was ranked, like, 3rd biggest glass jaw in current MMA. I think that's taken a little bit, I think that's a little bit crazy. Just because, I mean, it's not like, these are heavyweights we're talking about. These are people with the most power in the UFC. But at the same time, like, if I put him in B tier, this tier list would have been a joke. I'm going to put him mid C tier. Not quite a glass jaw, because he didn't get finished by Acosta. Okay? Next up, Robert Whittaker. I think he's getting chinny. I'm just going to say it. I think he is getting a little bit chinny. But when Costa didn't the straight flatline KO him with that spinning back kick, honestly, that's going to put him above a Dustin Poirier. You're telling me if Dustin Poirier didn't get hit with a spinning back kick from somebody, like, think of it like this. Getting hit with a spinning back kick from Paulo Costa at middleweight is similar to getting hit with a spinning back kick from Edson Barboza at lightweight. Edson Barboza would put Dustin Poirier to sleep with a spinning back kick. Robert Whittaker, defying all logic, managed to stay conscious against Paulo Costa. I know he got rocked, but if you can eat a spinning back kick and not get rocked, you have the craziest chin in the UFC ever. So yeah, no, mid B tier, slightly above average. Yeah, actually no, just at average. Gilbert Burns. Honestly, probably just a little bit above Volkanovski. Gilbert Burns has worried me about his chin just because of the damage he's taken. Don't get me wrong, like 2 years ago, I probably would have put him as a high B tier to a low A tier. but the damage that he's taken in his MMA career from a Kamaru Usman and a Khamzat Chimaev, and the fact that he has the ability not to get hit, and if you see him fighting now, that's how he is fighting. He's more going the grappling, not going to get hit route, and utilizing his jiu-jitsu. I think he's aware that he's taken a lot of damage, and he doesn't want to continue it. So yeah, I'm going to say low B tier. This is what I mean. The reason that there's not a ton of UFC fighters on here is the vast majority of people are in B tier, but this is the spectrum of B tier. Charles Oliveira is the very bottom. Strickland is the very top. Like, very few people are going to be along this. Next up, Ian Gary. Listen, Ian Gary, I think people are a little bit blowing it out of proportion when they say that he has a glass jaw. He got dropped by a can, but I'm going to say this. When you get... Most of the time when you get dropped, you're getting dropped by a punch that you don't see coming. And it just so happened that Ian Gary got hit by the perfect counter. And... listen, he made his adjustments and was able to not get hit by that again. And other fighters that have tried to hit him, he's been able to get away from it. We got the Jeff Neal fight, bro. Basically treated it like a track and field event. I'm not going to put him in an A tier. Honestly, I think his chin is actually just painfully average. Like, I'll put him here, and some people are going to be like, what? How does that make sense? Ian Gary hasn't taken enough damage for me to put him in a mid-B tier, but I would put somebody like Savkat higher than Ian Gary, because Savkat did take the punches from Jeff Neal and didn't get put straight unconscious, and I'm going to give you credit for that. So Ian Gary, very mid-B tier. Calvin Kattar, A tier. Honestly, yeah. For you to take the damage... Yeah, for you to take the damage that he was able to take from Max Holloway and not get put unconscious. I know Max Holloway doesn't hit the hardest. Actually, let me look. Who has finished Calvin Kattar? Calvin Kattar. Split, knee injury, unanimous. Zabit couldn't take him out? Hanato Moicano, loss. Oh. Yeah, no, he's never been finished. Okay, yep, A tier. I will actually put him above a Justin Gaethje purely for that. Yeah. Yeah, A tier. Calvin Kattar's A tier. I didn't know he was never finished. I thought he got finished earlier in his career, though. Huh. Yeah, no, if Zabit couldn't put you out, no, you're good. Next up. Actually, yeah, no, we can talk of him now. Bruno Silva. Giga chin. Honestly, Giga chin, dude. Like, it's either... They're tied for S tier. Bruno Silva didn't get put out by Alex Pereira. He didn't get put out by Sarputin Magomedov. Like, the Alex Pereira, the fact that he didn't get KO'd is absolutely insane. Like, honestly, I kind of have to put him in our Giga chin. Like, let's actually take a look at his record really quick. Wrong. Bruno Silva. Am I autistic? What's going on right now? There we go. I said just done that to begin with. Next up, okay. Sara, couldn't put him out. Brendan Allen, rear naked choke. Jared Mearsart, rear guillotine. Pereira couldn't put him out. Vitor Miranda. Yeah, that was the last dude to put him unconscious, and that was in 2014. Yeah, not quite as our Marvin Vettori level, but definitely going to be in our Giga chin. That is a tested chin that didn't get put unconscious by Alex Pereira and Sarputin. Yeah, no, I'm going to put it there. Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett, honestly, is going to go up here. Like, his fight with Ilia Topuria aged like fine wine. I understand he got 10-7, and that's a weird thing to say, but Ilia Topuria, Josh Emmett has a better chin than Volkanovski. Think about that. Josh Emmett took the very same combination that put out Volkanovski, but took it 3 times and didn't get put unconscious. Yeah, Josh Emmett's in our A tier. Actually, Josh Emmett has a better chin. Yeah. Because Ilia Topuria has crazy power and just wasn't put out. Honestly, yeah. Didn't get put out by Yair. He got choked out by Yair. So, actually, yeah, A tier. A tier chin. Jan Blachowicz. A tier. Like, it's the same thing. Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira didn't put him out. Took him to a split decision. When was the last time that he got finished? Like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, Jan's an older dude, too. Okay. No. He got put out by Thiago Santos. Okay, Thiago Santos actually does have crazy power, though. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, no, I'll put him above Justin Gaethje. No, that's fair. That's fair. Didn't get put out by... Only guy ever got put out by Thiago Santos, and Thiago Santos has crazy power for the division. I think that's fair. Ilia Topuria. Honestly, I'm going to put him slightly above average. The only reason that I'm going to say that, Ian Gary is going to represent our average. I'm going to put Ilia Topuria just slightly above, purely because he was able to tank a head kick from Jai Herbert and not get TKO'd. Like, that honestly is a super impressive feat. But at the same time, he hasn't been super tested. And what I mean by tested, like, here's the thing. You don't really want to be. Because Ilia Topuria is so good at negating damage from other fighters' boxing because his boxing is just better. It's the kickboxing that he has trouble with. Like, I'm going to tell you this right now. Ilia's either going to lose via TKO by a fighter that's really good at wrestling, and in all honesty, he's trying to fight Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev probably beats him. If Ilia Topuria beats Islam, he's the main character in the UFC. I'm just going to say it. I don't think he does, but that would be kind of crazy. But, Ilia Topuria. Yeah, honestly, yeah, slightly above average. Next up, Bryce Mitchell. Poor Bryce Mitchell. I think he has a glass jaw now, dude. Honestly. I'm going to put him in the middle, purely because we don't know yet. But this is my prediction. Bryce Mitchell is never going to be the same again. I want you to think about this real quick. This man fought Ilia Topuria. Okay? Ilia Topuria and got bullied. Fought Dan Ige. Look what Dan Ige did to Andre Fili. Yeah. He fought him and won, but got clipped. Nearly ended in a doctor stoppage. And I'm going to be honest with you, as much as I love Bryce Mitchell, he probably should have lost that. I had Danny Gay winning, and I picked Bryce Mitchell. And then got knocked into a Caesar by Josh Emmett. One of the hardest punchers in that division. So yes, Bryce Mitchell's going to go in our glass jaw because it wouldn't make sense for him to have a jaw at this point. Like, this is me being charitable. Next up, Michael Chandler, C tier, honestly. Like, I actually think he has a slightly better jaw than... these two. He gets dropped in every single fight. Bro, he got dropped by Tony Ferguson. Think about that. Okay? Honestly, the whole reason that the UFC wants to do Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor is, for one, they want to keep Michael Chandler's ranked at 155 because they can justify a title shot off of that. And Michael Chandler has the Chandler syndrome to lose to Conor McGregor and has the lack of a chin to get KO'd by Conor. Okay? Like, C tier. Like, that's his career. Like, exciting fights, yeah, but guess what? Your chin's also going to suffer for the very same reason. Has had wars in the UFC. Got finished by Charles Oliveira. Took a lot of damage against Dustin Poirier. Took even more damage from Justin Gaethje. Like, you see what I'm saying? The damage is standing. Like, there's a lot of damage on him. So, yeah, no, mid-C tier. I actually think this is one of my better tier lists. I might do a part 2. I don't know. If we can get this to... Yeah, no, I'll do a light goal for this one. If this gets to 150 likes, I'll do a part 2, and then I'll put a little thing on my story, my community post, to open up for suggestions that you guys can do in the next video. That's what I think I'm gonna do for these tier listy videos. I'll break these out as like a fan suggestion. I'll hold a tier up every couple days, and you guys can choose what tier list that you want, because it helps me out on my part. I'm gonna be making more videos that aren't a tier listy type of video, that are more discussion based and more what I'm used to, but the tier list videos are going to be for you guys, and you guys are gonna have a little bit more control over what the tier list is going to be about. So yeah, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when these are coming out, and more importantly, when the community post goes up, you guys can actually put fighters into here, and you can decide what the next video is going to be. I don't know about me or you, but like that sounds like a deal. So yeah, subscribe, helps me out a bit. And with that out of the way, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.